In today's modern parenting, did you know that over 90% of children have an online presence by the time they are 2 years old?
There's actually a word for it, sharenting. Basically, it's when parents share news about their kids online. But with growing concerns around the impact of social media on kids' mental health, some experts say parents should think twice before posting about their kids. Joining us now is family and clinical psychologist Dr. Jen Hartstein. So, Dr. Jen, a study by the NIH really caught my eye because it said that over half of parents post about their kids before they're even born. So just walk us through. I know, like...
Well, pregnant photos, I get that.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair. That's
Fair.
about the parent more than it's about the child, but it's still, we're starting early.
Yeah,
right? We're getting it out there.
We're starting early. So what should parents consider before they even press that button?
Well, I think true for all of us, but especially true for parents, is why are we posting, right? What are we doing it for? Are we sharing information? Are we what's the motivation? And I think that's an important thing we have to think about. We have to think about privacy for our kids, right? And we have to be selective about what we're doing, because if we're just showing our whole life, our kids are only learning how to perform for the camera and they're not really figuring out what to do. We were talking before the segment started. Sometimes we do stuff that we maybe might need to apologize for. Maybe your child didn't give you permission and they're old enough to have an opinion. Acknowledge that you maybe overstepped and recognize that relationship matters more than the post.
So Jen, for years, I did not show the faces of my children on social media. We have a few pictures that we can show you. I would show like the back of their heads.
Sure.
Something not identifiable, because I was worried about their privacy and also, frankly, their safety, because I have this very public job on television. Is that smart? What can parents do to appropriately share and safely share?
Such important questions. And I think, yes, that's okay, right? Because now there's nothing really identifying. A ponytail is not identifying. Any kid can have a ponytail. A baseball hat is not identifying. But we have to be mindful about privacy and safety, because if I'm posting my address, what school my kid goes to, now I'm opening up not just cyber security issues, but privacy issues and safety issues. Somebody can take my kid's identity and open up a bank account, and all of a sudden we're pulling that back. So the overshare is really something we need to consider, because we don't want people to take advantage of our children or of us.
Also, that stuff lives forever. The producers pulled those photos from, those are probably
deep in the archives.
Right. It lives forever. And so then what's happening, right? We're teaching our kids to perform. So we talk about mental health of teenagers now, but if their whole lives are being played out in front of the world, what is that setting up for who they want to be later?
Yeah, I've even seen people put emojis on top of their kids' faces to shield them. I wonder, are there any benefits, though, any positives to posting about your kids? I know some people have long-distance family relationships.
Sure. Yeah, it's a way to communicate with long-distance friends and family, 100%. It's a way to create community. What if I'm struggling with my kid and I'm like, hey, they have this, I'm showing you their arm and they have a rash, and maybe everybody gives some, Google Doctor magically appears, or all of these things. But community is one of the benefits of social media for all people at every age, and it's no different for parenting. We need community. It makes us feel seen and heard in ways that other communities may not.
Yeah, so you're saying it's not all bad to engage with your community about your children.
Yeah.
Just be careful about how much, it's the overshare, right? Be careful of the overshare. And if somebody's like, hey, you're posting a lot, hear that. It's not necessarily criticism. It might be really important feedback.
Go ahead.
Well, I just quickly wanted to ask, how does sharenting impact the parent-child relationship?
It's a great question, and it can really be negative, right? If I'm asking you not to do it and you're doing it anyway, that's a problem, and it can create some conflict. It can create a lack of trust. It can create a real challenge in me as a young person figuring out who I am, because you've made my identity for me. So we really want to figure out how to support them in their own development.
So as they're older, we were talking about this in the commercial break, asking, or I guess even when they're younger, asking them, saying is it okay if I post this picture of you?
Yes.
Make it a team effort. Do it together. And let them have a say, because maybe they don't want all of that information out there, and you're deciding for them. Give them some agency, give them some ability to make their own minds up.
I love that.
And then they can it'll teach them how to be better social media users later, too.
Dr. Jen Hartstein, I could talk about this all day.
I know. I'm like, Mom and Dad, are you listening? Thank you so much. And thanks for watching. There's a lot more news ahead.
You're watching NBC News Daily.